Let's talk classrooms and classroom environments. A classroom is a room dedicated primarily to teaching or learning activities. Setting up a classroom for success might sound like a simple task, but there are so many things that have to be considered because the learning environment must be physically and psychologically comfortable for the learner and the instructor. There are different types of classrooms. A standard schoolroom containing student desks, which is where many of our minds will typically go first when we think of the word classroom. A lecture hall, think of a college setting. Computer labs or science labs are also considered classrooms. A convention center banquet room. I'm sure all of us at one point or another have sat in for continuing education courses or work-related learning opportunities. And now, thanks to a pandemic, we have virtual classrooms. Classrooms come in all shapes and sizes, have different structures, contain different features, offer different facility services, and heck, your classroom may even be set up conveniently in the comfort of your own home. These classrooms house instructors or presenters and students or learners. So how do we effectively prepare a classroom for these individuals to maximize their experience? And I don't think we can limit this just to the learner. I feel that the instructor will also need special consideration as well. There are quite a few different classroom seating layouts that offer the best environment for the learner as well as the instructor based on group size, the use of visual aids, and whether or not group work will be required. The layout should be arranged to support the objectives of the session and the learning process, but let's not forget about comfort. Comfort includes physical and personal comfort. We live in a world of being 6 feet apart, so seating arrangements need to be considered. Plus, no one likes to climb over someone that they're sitting next to if they have to take a break. Physical comfort includes temperature, lighting, and visibility, to name a few. Let's look at some pros and cons of some common classroom seating layouts. Auditorium or theater seating, for example, is a great way to maximize the seating capacity of a room and is sufficient for a lecture, but not always appropriate for training. The instructor can choose to move about the stage or utilize the podium, which I prefer not to do because I like to work the room to keep people's attention. Visual aids may be difficult to see for those in the nosebleed section, and there is zero opportunity to create small breakout groups. Because of the seating arrangements, there may be inadequate space for taking notes, not to mention that climb over your neighbor issue. This layout doesn't really encourage participation and group discussion. Another arrangement is an open U, where tables are arranged to create a U shape. Because of the U shape, the instructor can become part of the group by stepping into the U, where learners can not only see the instructor, but they can also see each other, which is welcoming for group discussions. This seating also forces their attention to a focal point where visual aids can be placed. Seating capacity is limited with this type of layout, and if small group work is required, this layout would not be ideal. Seating comfort is probably much better, especially if you get those good ergonomic chairs, but personal space could be an issue for some. The individual group table layout is an ideal arrangement for larger groups, especially that require group work. The instructor can move freely between tables to encourage group discussion. Learners are already broken out into small groups, so that's a bonus. Visual aids may be more difficult for tables in the back to see, but could be placed in multiple locations throughout the room. Seating in this arrangement may not be as comfortable, but it is more spaced out, which allows learners to have more personal space. Computer labs, unlike other classrooms, offer a different type of learning style. The kinesthetic learner can have a greater learning experience being hands-on. The instructor is able to move around the classroom, look over the learner's shoulder, and work one-on-one with the learner. They can also encourage group discussion by moving about the room. Computer labs vary in size, and depending on the number of computers available in the room, your capacity may be limited. Most labs don't have much space between computers, so working closely for some may be an issue. Group work could be limited to 2 individuals, which may be okay if that's required. Visual aids may be difficult for the learner to see over those computer screens. Last but not least, how can you set up a virtual classroom for success? Be prepared as an instructor. Ensure your technology is working properly. Have material that will keep the interest of the learner. Most users are in their office space or in their homes, so they are probably set up pretty comfortably. Group discussion can still be encouraged. As long as you can engage the learner, this should be an easy task. Since you aren't face-to-face, keeping the attention of the learner can be more challenging. Have them turn that camera on. Capacity for virtual training depends on the course context. There isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, but many studies have shown that less than 30 learners allow for a better learning environment and is easier for the instructor to facilitate, engage the group, interact with the group, and be able to provide more individualized attention if necessary. Breakout rooms are available in Zoom, so you can set learners up with small group work. This could be considered a pro or a con, in my opinion. If you have the choice to select a classroom, take into consideration the pros and cons of each. Not only does the physical environment need to be comfortable, but it must also be psychologically comfortable. We, as instructors, may not have much wiggle room to change the physical environment of the classroom, think auditoriums or lecture halls, but we do have the ability to make a positive environment, so the learner is as comfortable as possible. Adult learners are a little more unique. We have egos, expectations, and preconceived thoughts. Understanding these attributes will make it easier for the trainer to set the classroom up for success and create that positive environment. Set the scene. Before your groups arrive, prepare the room and create a welcoming environment. Check the lighting and temperature. Maybe add a little music. Provide snacks and water or simple refreshments. Set the learner space up with training materials or supplies. Ensure personal space is considered, so space chairs or, if necessary, assigned seats. Virtually, you can create interesting and informative material that will keep the learners engaged using a PowerPoint or other resources. Request that those videos are turned on so everyone feels like they're all together. Discuss the expectations, what the learner can expect from you and what you can expect from them. Go over the necessities, where the restrooms are there break areas? Does the facility provide food services? And most importantly, discuss the emergency exits. Talk about time frames. What is the total time of your session? How many breaks will there be? And how long will those breaks be? Suggest engagement and participation. Let them know that it's okay to feel free to ask questions or offer thoughts and suggestions. Encourage group discussion. Everyone brings a life experience into the classroom. Virtually, you can cover all of these expectations, except maybe the necessities. This may not be feasible for all sessions, but offering a small token of appreciation for their time is a nice touch. If you have company pens or notebooks to provide them with, maybe some fidget spinners or stress balls, and of course you can throw some candies or treats on the table to allow them to select at any time. That would also be a nice touch. Virtually, this would be tough to do, but what you can do is thank them for taking time out of their busy day to be there with you. Creating a positive environment by setting the scene, sharing expectations, and offering tokens of appreciation can provide the learner comfort amongst their peers to feel free to ask questions and participate in group discussions. And hopefully, those egos will be checked at the door. I look forward to any feedback that you have. And thank you for taking your time, everybody, and listening to this. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.